All right, welcome. Welcome to our intermediate class on Family Day. Middle of February, the shortest, longest month of the year, it seems, most of the time. And this whole weekend really has been on this theme of love, right? Families and Valentine's. And that can be wonderful if you're surrounded by people who you love and who love you. It can also be a really challenging time for those of you who may be struggling or alone at this time, especially in this pandemic year. It can be highlighted even more. And so today I don't want to focus so much on family or other, but really on our relationship with ourselves, because at the end of the day, that is the most important relationship we have and the only one that we can really, truly 100% count on, right? And the fact is that we let ourselves down often. We beat ourselves up when we're not good enough. And we have all kinds of ways that we talk down to ourselves. And for me, it's in my lifetime, it's been really a practice of letting that go over many years, of learning to love myself in a way that includes all of who I am, right? So it's easy to love the parts of myself that are lovable, right? The parts that show up in the world with joy, with kindness, with generosity, and all of those qualities that we really admire in people. It's not so hard or not so easy to love myself when I'm feeling grouchy or fearful or annoyed or any of those other more challenging emotions. And today, I really invite you to invite all of that in. So, can we love even the unlovable parts of ourselves? Can we actually apply this unconditional love to ourselves? And it's tricky, right? So, all kinds of feelings come up when we focus on the idea of love, but can we bring all of that in? Can we make our container of love big enough to include all of those things that we usually think of as unlovable? Right. So as we go through the class today, if challenging feelings come up for you, if you're, struggling with any of the moves, or if your mind goes to some unhappy place, I invite you to simply open yourself up to be with whatever is. If emotions happen, let them happen. If it becomes overwhelming, just give yourself a little bit of love, give yourself a little bit of time. If you need to, you can check out, come back in, whatever helps you. Right, so that's where we'll be heading today in our practice. We'll be working on heart opening, working on cobra and upward dog a little bit, focusing on those kinds of postures today. So we're going to start seated, so you can get yourself comfortable, and I'll see you on the mat. So you can be on a chair or on the ground. It really doesn't matter as long as you're comfortable. So we'll start with a little bit of a check-in. So tuning into the body, tuning into the breath. And this is I believe it's the fourth week of classes. Maybe it's the fifth, actually. Yeah, I think it's the fifth. So we've been focusing so far on really tuning into the body in terms of using our sensations in our body as a way of creating mindfulness. We've been tuning into the breath, the inhale and the exhale, with that same goal of creating a sense of mindfulness when we bring our attention to the moment. Today, noticing what thoughts arise, noticing what comes up, and whether we can accept and bring in and love everything that arises for us today. Right? And when we feel challenged, when we maybe feel like, I absolutely can't love that, right? We may love all of it except that, right? Then can we find compassion for those things that we can't find self-love for today? So compassion, love, care, openness, all of those qualities, but also understanding that when we feel closed down, that we can also bring some care and compassion to that closed down or numb feeling, whatever it is that we are bringing to the class today. So let's take a moment to tune into sensation in our body. So noticing your body in space. Notice the temperature. Do you feel warm or cool today? Parts of your body feel warmer, parts feel cooler. Can you feel the pressure of your body where it meets the ground? And if there are areas of your body where there's not a lot of sensation, where it may feel numb or you may feel a little disconnected, notice that as sensation as well. Notice where your hands may be touching your body and how that feels. You can even do a little movement to create a little more sensation, just rubbing the hands a little bit on your legs or wherever they are. Okay, and then let the weight of your arms and hands rest on your thighs or your knees, wherever's comfortable for you. And feel that pressure, that gentle pressure of your body touching your body. And then start to tune into your breath as it is. So we're not trying to change the breath. We're not trying to alter it or force it in any way, but just be aware of the movement of the breath. Can you feel the breath moving in your body? Where do you feel the breath moving in your body? Tune into the energy of the inhale. And then tune into the energy of the exhale. Feel how the breath moves your body. Get curious about that movement. And then I invite you to also get curious about your mind. So notice the thoughts as they pass through. If possible, try not to hook your attention to any particular thought, but maybe notice the thoughts as though they were clouds drifting by in the sky, or a radio or TV in the background. You're aware that it's there, but you're not paying attention. And if thoughts become louder and demand your attention, just acknowledge them, invite them in, and come back to the breath or the body as an anchor to the present. So from this seated position, I invite you to just begin to move. So just let your body move intuitively. What would feel good right now? Where does your body want to move? If you want to stretch your legs out as well, if that would feel good, feel free. So just some kind of seated movement, tuning in to your own sense of knowing. What does your body need? What does it want right now? What would feel good? And give your body that gift of movement. And then gradually come back to stillness. Just finding your way back to the center. And let's take the arms to the sides, taking a breath in and reaching the arms up, lifting the heart, bringing your hands together overhead, and then bringing the hands together at your heart. Taking a moment here to connect with what's true for you right now. What is in your heart right now? Maybe you're feeling wonderful. Maybe you're feeling pretty proud of yourself for showing up on the mat this morning. Maybe you're feeling tired. Maybe you're feeling annoyed. Just noticing what's in your heart right now. Whatever you discover, can you bring openness? Can you bring acceptance? Can you bring love? And if not, can you connect with compassion for that part of you that's unable to connect today. And then let's take whatever is there, lift it up, and give it some space. Let it open up as you take the arms out to the sides, all around you, like you're showering yourself with love or whatever is present, coming back to the center. And we'll do that a few times. Just opening up whatever is present for you and allowing it breathing space, allowing it room to be without judgment. So today is all about letting go of any judgment. Great. One more time. Great. And then let's bring the hands back to the heart. So we'll do a little movements for a few movements for the wrists. So starting by bringing the heels of the hands down and putting a little pressure against your hands. If you want to feel a bit of a different stretch, you can keep the bases of your fingers together and move the heels of your hands away, stretching more into the fingers. Okay, and then bringing the palms back together and letting the fingertips now come together, putting a little pressure into your fingertips. And then palms back together. And we'll turn the palms down. We'll do a little gesture here where we bring the backs of the hands together, turn the fingers in and roll them out into this gesture of openness, of giving, of releasing. And then the opposite, bringing in, rolling around and coming back to the heart as if we're receiving. So hands down, offering our love really to ourselves. And then bringing that love back into our own hearts. So again, creating openness for whatever it is, whatever is available, whatever is present, and inviting that back into our heart, back into that container of love. One more time, being open to what is, to receiving love, and then bringing that love back into our hearts, whatever it might look like today. And pausing here. Take a couple of deeper breaths, connecting to your truth. Love is not about loving the illusion, but loving the wholeness of who we are, not our projections. And allowing space for all of that. Let's take the arms up again, opening up to what is as we take the arms out to the sides. We're going to bring the hands behind the back this time. If you can reach, interlace your fingers. If not, just arms reaching back. Draw the shoulder blades in and down, let the heart lift. Take a few breaths here in this heart open position. Allow whatever feelings and thoughts are present to just bubble up without giving them your attention, your energy. And then opening the arms wide, we're going to come forward and give ourselves a hug. You can cross the arms over, bring one hand to opposite shoulders, and then head down, a little rounding in your upper back now. You can take the elbows a few inches one way, a few inches the other way. Let your upper body rock a little bit, getting into that space between the shoulder blades. When we open the back of the body, it's about opening to self-love. When we open the front of the body, it also includes loving others. So notice which arm is on top. And open the arms again, bring the hands behind the back again. You can interlace the fingers and open yourself up to the universal love. Allow it to expand in your heart, whatever is present. Good. And then other arm comes over top this time. Giving yourself a hug. Try to let your shoulders relax. You can round the upper back a little bit. And again, do a little side to side movement. Create a little more space between your shoulder blades. Okay, and then let's expand out to the sides one more time, bringing the arms behind your back, drawing the shoulder blades down and back, and taking a few more breaths here. And then let's release. And we'll come over onto all fours. So however you want to get there. Bringing the hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips for table position. And we'll move into either cat-cow or going from our all fours arched position to child's pose if you prefer. Letting your body move here in the way that feels best for you, either just arching and rounding as you stay on all fours, or adding child's pose to your exhale if that feels good for you. Your coordinating breath, inhale as you extend or arch the back, exhale as you flex around the spine. And then free flow again, just as we did seated. Invite your body to move in whatever way would feel good to you here. Staying either on all fours, or if you're ready to pop up into downward dog, you can go there. Really just taking your time to intuitively move in the way that would feel best for you. There's no right or wrong way to move as long as your body is feeling good with the movement. Of course, if it's painful, I would suggest maybe something else. Really tuning into what would feel good for you right now. Maybe just hanging out with child's pose would be your best option. We'll take about another minute with whatever movement or stillness feels right for you. And then from all fours, we're going to move into a pose that can be a bit challenging on the shoulders. It's called puppy pose. And it's where we keep the hips over the knees and come down onto the forearms. And if your shoulders are quite tight and having your arms overhead here would be uncomfortable for you, I welcome you to take your elbows to the sides as you bring your forehead down. And then you can start to gradually move your arms a little straighter, bringing the upper arms in towards your ears, palms overhead, only if that's comfortable. So keeping the elbows bent if that's better for you. And if your arms are fully straight, you can press into the palms, lift your elbows, and draw the shoulder blades wide. So you're wrapping your upper arms, the outer upper arms moving down, shoulder blades widening. Taking a few breaths here in puppy. Modify as you need to. So elbows bent is a really great option if you feel a pinching or discomfort in your shoulders. All right, when you're ready, we'll make our way back upright. And here we'll move into child's pose. So if you want to bring your knees apart, if that's more comfortable for child's pose for you, you can do that. Or you can keep your knees side by side, bring your hips back towards your heels, head toward the ground. And you may want to invite your arms back by your legs so that the shoulders can drop and release a little bit after our puppy pose position. Taking a few breaths here, see if you can feel breath moving into the back of your body here, opening the space in the back of the heart. Creating some softening between the shoulder blades. Wonderful. And then you can come back up to all fours. And we're going to practice a few ways of getting from either all fours or plank or kneeling plank onto our bellies. So there's so many options here. We're going to work with a couple of them today. So start by taking your hands forward of your shoulders and letting your hips come forward so that you're in a straight line from your shoulders to your knees. Now you might have to play around a little bit with the positioning of your hands so that it feels comfortable for your wrists. So you ideally have your hands either right under your shoulders or ahead of your shoulders, not back, further back from your shoulders, which puts a lot of strain on the wrists. So the further forward they are, the easier on the wrists. So from that kneeling plank, what we can do is think of rolling the body to the ground from the knees to the forehead by bending the elbows. So the thighs come down, the hips come down, the belly comes down, the chest comes down, and finally the forehead comes down. So let's try that again, lifting up to all fours. Keep your hands where they were if they were in a good position. And then again, kneeling plank, body in a straight line, and then we can start to release, bending the elbows so the shoulders stay relaxed, rolling from the knees to the forehead. And lifting up one more time. Try that again. Really make sure the arms are bending. Otherwise, the shoulders are going to get jammed up to the ears. Okay, so let's come back upright. And in fact, if you want, you can sit on your heels for a moment and give your wrists a little bit of movement. So we are going to be spending some time with our wrists supporting the weight. So always take breaks when you need to do some circles or whatever you need to release your wrists. And then as you're doing that, I'll demonstrate the next possible way of getting to the ground. So in this way, instead of, it's same start, kneeling plank, but instead of rounding or rolling the body down, we're going to bend the elbows and come down in what they used to call, insultingly, a girl push-up. So we'll call it a half push-up rather than a girl push-up. So coming, now if this is too much for you, go back to version 1, okay? So here, bend the elbows back towards your feet and straight down to the ground. And then you can do this either from your knees, or some of you will have the strength to not face plant, coming from plank right to the ground. And so you're going to choose which version works for you and try maybe 1 or 2 more. Whichever felt good to you, and you can vary it up as we go. So, maybe if you try some full plank, but then you get tired, you can always choose one of the other options. And again, when you have done a couple more and you're ready, you can come up and give your wrist some love, some movement. Great. So, from kneeling, we're going to come to stand. I invite you to try to do this without using your hands on the ground, if possible. If you need to use your hands, then absolutely do, rather than falling over. But if you can come up without, it's a nice little challenge. So coming up to stand. Okay, let's take the feet apart and do a few circles for the hips. Just releasing tension in the hips. We spent the first part of the class seated, just making sure that your hips get a little lubrication with movement here, circling one way and then the other. Great. And then coming back to the center. Bring the feet in. So we're going to move into some sun salutations, but bring a little bit more of our emphasis onto the cobra part today. Last week, we were really focused on how to step forward from downward dog in our sun salutations. We'll certainly be doing that as well today. If you have blocks and you find them helpful, you might want to bring them somewhere handy so that you can use them when we get to that point. Otherwise, coming toward the front of your mat. So you've got some room to step back behind you. If you're not using a mat, just make sure there's space behind you. Good. Let's drop down into the heels now and feel this expansion across the heart. Shoulders move slightly back and down, not so you feel like you're, standing at attention, but there's this feeling of the collarbones coming apart a little and shoulders dropping down. And bring the palms together, heart. And again, connecting with whatever is present for you around the heart today, whether it's grief, loneliness, sadness, joy, happiness, connection, whatever is there for you, connecting with that. I'm going to take that and lift it. It's all worthy of love. Exhale, bend your knees as you come forward, spreading whatever is present right down to the earth, letting your head release. And then let's bring the hands to the shins, take a breath in and lift the heart. With exhale, bring your hands down. We're going to step back, one foot and then the other to come to downward dog. So finding your way to downward dog. You can take a moment here, walking on the spot. Right. And then see if you can find the right distance to come into plank. So most of you will probably walk your feet back a little bit and then let the hips come forward so that the hands are under the shoulders. You can certainly lower your knees as well. And then choosing your favorite way that you already discovered to get to the ground, you're going to make your way down onto your belly. So now I invite you to let your elbows come to the ground. So let your hands come forward, elbows on the ground. If you're off the end of your mat, you can just shuffle back a little bit so you're comfortable. Elbows tucked into your side, forehead to the ground. So here we're going to take a moment to tune into the breath. As you exhale, I invite you to gently engage your buttocks and thighs, press down with the thighs, down with the pubic bone. And then as you exhale, you're doing that. As you inhale, you're relaxing. So exhale, engage the lower body, press down. You can even press into the tops of the feet as long as that's comfortable for you. Inhale, relax. Exhale, engage the hips, thighs, legs, press down. Inhale, relax. Good. Now let's exhale and come into that engaged position, pressing down into the thighs. And we're going to keep that engagement as we now inhale, lift the chest and head. Exhale, lower the forehead back to the ground. Keeping that engagement in the lower body. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And do this a few times. This is the most simple version of Cobra. There's no pressure on the arms and hands. You're using the strength of your back to lift you. And you're keeping the lower body engaged as an anchor. And it also helps to lengthen and keep the lower back a little safer from overdoing it here. Right. This time, if you like, when you come up, you can stay for a few breaths. So I invite you to keep looking down, keep the back of your neck long. You can, instead of pressing down with your arms, think about pulling back towards your hips to really draw the chest forward and engage the muscles on the back of the body. Keep connected to the earth through your hips, thighs, feet. And then slowly lower down. Bring the hands under the head if you like. You can turn the head to one side. Let the toes fall in and the heels away from each other if that's comfortable for you. That's going to give you a little space across the back of the sacrum. And I invite you now to just tune into the breath as it is. So nothing fancy here, just breathing and noticing the movement of your breath wherever it goes. Okay, when you're ready, bring the forehead back down. Now you're going to take the hands, slide them back to about the level of your shoulders or upper rib cage. And there's two ways to get to downward dog from here. The easiest way is to come to all fours, tuck your toes under, and lift to downward dog. And if that's the option that you want to take, that's great. If you want to come straight to downward dog, right from here, you can tuck your toes under, start to lift the upper body or the body in general, and press the hips back. Now, try not to step forward here. So feel how wide your downward dog is. You can move back to plank, so you can test if you've moved, and then back to downward dog. Great. From here, let's step the feet, and it doesn't matter how you get there, stepping one and then the other back towards the front of your mat. Head release, soft knees. Take a couple of breaths here. And then inhale, hands to shins, finding length in the upper body. Exhale to release. Great, let's gather all of that good energy all around us, everything that we've been engaging with, bring it together, bringing the hands back to the heart, and taking a moment to be with whatever is present right now. So we're going to go into another sequence here. This time we'll add lunge in as well. So taking a breath in, lifting. Softening as you exhale, bending your knees as you come forward, letting your head release. And then inhaling, hands to shins, lengthening. Exhale and fold forward. Let's take the right leg and step back. So as we come into lunge, you want to think about drawing your back leg a little forward and your forward leg a little back. So you're really engaged through the pelvis, through the pelvic floor. Bring your hands up onto your front knee if you like. And then start to lift your upper body. So lunge is a back bend. And if you want to make it more of a back bend, you're going to lift upright more. You can bring the arms to your sides. Take a breath in and reach all the way up. Draw your shoulder blades down. And even while you're lifting your heart, keep a little engagement in your core. So a little bit of movement of your hips, top of your hips to the bottom of your rib cage. And breathe. If you need to have your hands on your knee or the ground, please do. All right, let's bring the hands down. You're going to step back to plank. So finding your way there, make little adjustments, and then whichever way you want to get down to the ground from here, you can choose your best route, finding your way down. And again, let's take the arms forward for now, just to get the weight off the wrists as we really work on engaging for the back bend. So exhale, press down into your hips and thighs. You can squeeze a little through the thighs and buttocks. It's going to help protect your low back. And then inhale, lifting, coming into cobra. Think about pulling back with your arms to engage your back. So you're as if you're trying to pull your arms toward your hips without moving them. You feel the back muscles engage, the heart lifts. And if you want to challenge yourself a little more, take your hands off the ground and see if you can support yourself here with the strength of your back. Okay, when you're ready, slowly lower down. You can slide the hands back. This time we're going to come to all fours and do a little bit of movement here. So inhale, arch. Exhale, child's pose. And let's do that a few times. So when we're working with back bends, we want to gently Just very gently release in between, making sure that we're not overdoing it. And then we're going to make our way back onto our bellies again for one more cobra and a little variation. So hands are forward of the knees or of the shoulders. If you're coming into plank, you can either lift the knees or keep them down as you lower to the ground, finding your way there. And this time, a couple of options. So we're going to work with a pose called upward dog. And if that is too much for you, you're going to go back to cobra with the elbows down. So this is a little more wrist intensive. If your wrists are struggling, skip upward dog and just work with cobra. If your wrists are happy, you can bring your hands back by your lower rib cage, so quite a bit back. And then from here again, engaging the lower body, pressing down into the hips and thighs. You'll inhale, start to lift the chest and head, and then you can press into your arms. Keep your elbows bent and come up a little higher. So we're not doing this, shoulders up to the ears, straight arms. This makes it a lot more challenging to have bent arms. And then let's lower down. Great, you can move the hands just a little bit forward, come back up to all fours. And again, just find a position for your hands that's comfortable and a little movement back and forth from all fours to child's pose. A little release after upward dog. We're going to go back onto our bellies, and again, I'm going to give you the option of cobra, the version of upward dog that we just did, or I'm going to give you one more option that's even a little bit more challenging. So when you're ready, finding your way, however you want to get there, back down onto your belly. Great, let's just take the hands back for a moment. You can turn your head to the side or forehead down, just lifting, make fists and lift and release, lift and release a few times. And then when you're ready, you can either bring your hands forward, elbows down for a nice, easy version of cobra, more challenging version, moving towards upward dog, which we just worked with, or again, hands down by your lower rib cage if you want to come into the full version of upward dog. Again, we're going to engage the lower body, press down into the hips and thighs, into the tops of the feet. You can do this with toes tucked under or feet flat. Inhale, lift the chest and head, press into the arms, come up to that intermediate version where the elbows are bent. And if you want more, you can start to straighten your arms, press down with your shoulders, press into the tops of your feet and lift your knees and breathe. Wherever you're at, you can come into downward dog. You can come right from here, turning your feet over as you lift. If they're not already tucked under or coming to all fours or whatever it takes to come to downward dog. And then again, let's walk on the spot. If your wrists need a break, come to child's pose. Right. So from here, we're going to step the right foot forward. We talked about this last week. So most people find it easier to get a bit of momentum. You can lift the leg, breathe in, and as you exhale, draw your belly in and up and swing the leg through as much as you can. You can always lower the back knee and just get there however is possible for you. And then we'll step forward with the other leg. Head down for a moment. Pause here. You can let the arms release or cross your arms if you like, or bring them up onto your thighs if that's more comfortable. Great. Inhale, come all the way up. Bringing the palms together and back to the heart. Lovely. So we'll do that again. Work on some of those pieces in the middle and work on the lunge on the other side this time. So we'll be stepping the left foot back, or if you did last time, you'll switch the right foot. So from here again, heels sinking down, heart lifting, connecting to whatever is true for you right now, not dwelling there, but acknowledging whatever is present for you with as much openness, love, and acceptance as you can find within yourself today, and then taking that and lifting it. Sending it out as you come forward into your forward bend, releasing the knees, the head, and then inhale, half forward bend, exhale to release. This time we'll step the left leg back for lunge. Generally, the further you step back, the more challenging the lunge can be. So it's up to you. If you like, you can also bring your hands up onto your front knee. Again, totally optional. If you want to come into more of a back bend, start to think about your body coming upright. The fact of your back leg being back like this is already tilting the pelvis, so you're in a back bend. But think about bringing your hips and ribs just a little bit closer in front. And then from there, you can take the arms up, keeping that little bit of engagement in the core. Find a lift in your heart as the shoulder blades move down your back. If you want to drop into the lunge a little more, you can sink down if that feels good for you. Right, and then we'll bring the hands down. We'll step back to plank. Again, you have the option to find your way to the ground in the way that feels most supportive to you. And then choosing, cobra arms come forward, upward dog, hands move back a little bit. Engaging the lower part of the body, either way. And then from there, inhale to lift the chest and head. And then either staying in cobra, lifting to version 1 of upward dog or version 2. And then from there, however you want to make your way to downward dog. From downward dog, let's come to all fours. And again, we'll inhale, arch, exhale, child's pose. You can do that a few times to help release and lengthen the lower back. If you are finding your wrists are quite happy and you want to come back into downward dog or alternate between child's pose and downward dog, move through the sequence that way. And if there's other movement that wants to happen, if you want to circle the hips or move side to side or come into that thread the needle twist, whatever would feel good for you. So take a couple of minutes. You might even come down on your forearms to give your wrists that little bit of a break. You might just want to hang out in child's pose. Again, really tuning into what your body, what your breath, what your mind would feel good today for you. Eventually make your way to child's pose if you're not there already. The hands can be forward, under your head or back by your feet. Your knees can be together or apart. You can stay still or you can rock a little bit side to side here. If you're still enjoying movement, then please continue to move. When you're ready, we'll come back up to all fours. Finishing our sun salutation by coming into downward dog. Again, if you need blocks to help you step forward and you have them handy, you can bring them under your hands. You're going to step the left leg and reach it back. Breathe in here. As you exhale, drawing the belly up, bringing the knee in. You can kind of spring off your back foot and get your left foot as close as you can to your hands. You may need to drop the back knee to get there. So whatever it takes. And then we'll step forward. Releasing the head. Again, you can fold the arms or come elbows to thighs or let the arms dangle, whatever would feel good for a couple breaths here. And then again, we'll inhale, reaching out to the sides, drawing all that love from around us into the heart, whatever is present. And pausing here for a few breaths, feeling your body in this space, feeling your feet on the ground, the crown lifting towards the sky. And feeling whatever is present in your heart, mind. Right, in yoga, there's the belief that the heart and the mind are connected. There is no difference. And if you ask a yogi in India to point at their mind, they're just as likely to point at their heart as their head. Right, let's take the arms up again, breathing in. And then exhale and let the arms float down to your sides. Okay. And then we're going to keep the knees soft and shake the body a little bit. Shaking the arms, let the shoulders be soft. Yeah, you can move it to the side, shake it out to the sides, overhead. You can dance a little if you like. Just get a little bit loose here. Just releasing all of the effort of the. I find Cobra and Upper Dog, those are challenging poses for me, and I know others find that as well. Some people love them. I love them too, but they're challenging. So let's take the feet apart a little bit, soften your knees, arms are like wet noodles, and we're gonna move the body in a bit of a twist, letting the arms just hit the body wherever they land. And then coming back to the center, if you take your feet even a little bit wider, so you might want to be sideways on your mat the way I am, but whatever is comfortable for you. And we'll do a little bit more of a twist. So really encourage you to keep your knees soft, not locked. And then we'll take the arms to the sides. We're going to reach one arm across to the opposite side, twisting the body like a revolving door. The upper arm can reach up or come to your lower back. And then you'll come back to the center. So you can breathe in as you come to the center, exhale as you go to either side. The hand can come to your thigh, your shin, the foot, the ankle, the floor, whatever is accessible and feels good to you. Inhale, center, exhale to twist. Continue a few more at your own pace. For those of you who want a little bit more here, you can stay in the twist to one side. If you want to just keep moving, that is absolutely fine. If you're staying, the arm can reach up or again, beyond your lower back. You might look up behind you. Find where the breath can move because it's a little challenging sometimes to breathe in a twist. If you've been staying, you might reverse to the other side. Whenever you're ready, you don't have to bring your hand to the ground wherever it reaches for you. Even a chair is a nice option, or blocks. And again, when you're ready, coming back to the center, you can lift the arms straight up overhead. Again, soft knees as we sweep forward. Releasing the head toward the ground. Inhale to lift. So do this a few times, this wide-legged forward bend. You can stop with hands or elbows on thighs if you like, or reach all the way to the ground. And again, after you've done a few, if you like, you can opt to stay for a few breaths. You can also opt to keep moving if that feels better for you. So either staying or a few more dynamically. Elbows can be on the thighs, or you can fold your elbows or just let your arms hang. really tune into what would feel right for you. Check in that your knees are not locked, they're soft. All right, whenever you're ready, try to lift with a long spine coming all the way up. We'll bring the hands together and back to the heart. Taking a breath here, and then release. And bring the feet together. So same challenge that we had in getting up from the mat. If you can come down to the mat without using your hands, you can try that. I'm going to give you an option here. So one way to do this is the way we did. You can just come back down onto one knee, or you can take the top of one foot behind you, come down onto that knee, and then come down onto your bum. There you go. If you need to use your hands, that's totally fine. And then coming right down onto your back, and let your hands come to rest on your body, knees bent, which helps to lengthen the lower back. After a little bit of focus on back bending today, it's coming to a neutral spine, coming back to your breath. Tuning into the rhythm and the flow of your breath without trying to change it, without judging it. Some more breaths, softening with each exhalation, letting go now of the effort of the practice. We've done all the hard stuff. Now we're moving into the relaxed part of the class. Your shoulders, jaw, face, neck soften here as you breathe. And then we'll bring the knees up toward the body. You can place one hand on each knee and start with straight arms, feeling your weight out over your sacrum, the back of your hips. Take a breath in here. And as you exhale, slowly let the knees release in towards the chest. And then as you inhale, you're moving the knees away, making space for the breath. So you can continue that movement at your own breath rhythm. And then try varying the movement. See what it would feel like to circle your knees above you and how that feels on your low back and your sacrum on the ground. If that's not comfortable, try a different movement, maybe holding the knees a little closer, taking the weight off the sacrum, and massaging the big muscles by rocking side to side, those muscles that support your spine. Giving the back or the back of the hips or both a little massage here by moving around on the ground. And then let's bring the feet to the ground. And take the arms out to the sides and straighten your left leg. Your right knee is bent, the left leg is straight. And you can press into your right foot and shift the hips just a little bit to the right as you roll onto your left hip and bring the right knee across your body. If you like, you can bring your left hand to your thigh. If you have a block handy and you want to support your knee, you can. If you want more twist, you can take that leg and stretch it up to the side. Your right foot could rest on your left leg or on the ground or beyond your left leg. So make this your own. Find a way that feels good to twist here. And then slowly rolling back onto your back. Bring that foot to the floor. You can bend the other leg and bring your hips back to center. I like to bring my knees into my chest after twisting one way just to really lengthen and release the lower back. You can do the same if that feels good for you. And then whenever you're ready, we'll twist the other way. So now your right leg will straighten. You can press into your left foot and shift a little bit to the left as you roll onto your right hip, bringing the knee across your body, maybe bringing the hand to the leg or stretching the leg out. Again, the foot could rest on your thigh or on the ground on either side of your leg. If you want less twist, knee points toward the ceiling more. And breathing here. And making your way onto your back, bending both knees, and again, lifting and shifting your hips back to center. And then after that deeper twist, we're going to bring the knees back into the chest. And again, you can do that forward and back movement to release and lengthen the spine. You can stay with that, or if you like, you can stretch the arms and legs out as you breathe in, and then bring them back into your chest as you breathe out. Moving at your own pace. If your breath pace isn't a comfortable pace to move at, just move and breathe freely. Next time your legs are in the air, you can also lift your arms and circle the wrists and ankles here, nice and slowly. You can circle one way and the other, or any movement that would feel good, maybe giving them a little shake. And then as you're ready, knees can come back in. I'll give you another minute or two. If there's any other movement that would feel good to you, go ahead and move, stretch in any way that your body is craving right now. And our next move after that is to Shavasana. So if you're ready, you can just go ahead and get a head start by getting into a comfortable position for Shavasana. Maybe having a blanket or some extra clothes if your space isn't so warm, so that you can relax, because it's pretty difficult to relax if you're cold. You are welcome to lie or sit for Shavasana. So sitting can be a nice option if you feel like you might fall asleep and you don't want to fall asleep. I find when I'm sitting, I'm a little more alert than when I'm lying down, but when I'm lying down, I'm a little more comfortable. So finding what works best for you. So again, making your way to a comfortable position, generally lying down, but possibly sitting. When you get there, just making the little kinds of adjustments that might help you to be as comfortable as possible, allowing you to commit to a particular position. Ideally, once you find that comfortable place, unless you really need to, if you're really uncomfortable, it's always a good idea to find that position and commit to it so you can really drop in to the meditation. So let's come back to the breath now and bring a little bit more focus to the exhalations. The exhalation we talked about last week, the phase of the breath that allows you to release and let go. See if you can find that energy in your exhalation, the energy of dropping down and letting go. And if your mind is still busy, you might use the exhale as kind of a clearing for your mind. So as thoughts occur to you and you realize you've been hooked by a thought, As you exhale, you can imagine that thought just streaming away. The next breath might bring another thought. That's fine. Just allow it to release as you exhale. Allow your body to soften as you exhale. We work today a lot with the shoulders, the upper chest, the back, the upper back, the whole back strengthening. So now as you exhale, see if you can let your shoulders go a little bit more. If you can relax and release them just a little bit more. And let your arms follow. So as your shoulders release, the arms, the wrists, and the hands let go. Relax also your neck, your jaw, your face, and all the muscles around your head, the base of your skull, your ears. Exhaling, sink down a little bit more. Let go a little bit more. Start to feel the spine release through the upper back, mid back, lower back. Feel the weight of your pelvis on the ground. Feel that weight of your hips and soften all around your sacrum, that flat part of the back of your pelvis. And soften the muscles of your buttocks, your abdomen, all around your hips. Feel your torso soften all over as you exhale and drop down. Softening your thighs. Relaxing your knees. Dropping through the calves and shins, the ankles, the feet. As you breathe in, scan your body for tension. Scan your body for holding that you might have overlooked. And as you exhale, create a little more softening, a little more ease in those areas that you identified as being a little tighter, a little more constricted or holding. Inhale, scanning, exhale, softening. And you can continue to scan and soften as you listen to the chant today, which builds on the chant from the last 2 weeks. Focusing on the body to bring us mindfulness, focusing on the breath, to bring our attention to the moment. And focusing on our thoughts to welcome everything that is, and to use our thoughts as a way of being mindful as well. And when we bring our attention to these aspects, coming into this mindful space, we start to clear what hides our inner light, so that that light can shine for ourselves and for others. If your light feels dim today, don't despair. Just let the breath move through you and welcome all that you uncover. Annamaya Leshukyam Jyotiraham Virajavipa Bhuya Sarga Swaha. Om Pranamaya Me Shuddhantam Jyotiraham Viraja Vipama Bhuya Sarga Swaha. Om Manomaya Me Shuddhantam Jyotiraham Viraja Vipama Bhuya Sarga Swaha. Om. Let your attention come back to your breath if it's wandered away. And now start to engage in slightly fuller breaths, inviting the breath to fully inhabit your body comfortably, exhaling fully, allowing the breath to energize you. With that deepening breath, you can start to bring some movement, starting with your fingers and toes, maybe then your ankles and the wrists. And then moving in whatever way would feel good. So use your intuition. Just moving and stretching, either big movements or subtle movements. Again, whatever would feel good to your body. And gradually, as you start to feel ready to come upright, if you've been lying down, you can roll to your side, maybe pause for a moment. And there's always the option, if you're wanting to spend more time in Shavasana, to just ignore me, or you can stop the recording or hit mute. Stay with it if that's the energy that feels right for you. And otherwise, when you're ready, coming back to sit upright. Bringing your palms together. And I encourage you to keep this theme close to your heart as you go through your week, and notice when those thoughts of I'm not good enough or whatever they are that take you away from self-love, notice those and see if you can invite them in instead of pushing those thoughts away. Inviting them in brings us closer to self-love, when we can love all of who we are, not just the parts that are typically lovable. So bringing your whole self to everything you do this week with as much compassion and love as you can find. And when you can't find compassion and love, forgiveness, letting it go. Namaste. Thank you, and happy Family Day.